30 years. It seems like a long time, but when I look back, it feels like everything passed in the blink of an eye. This milestone made me reflect deeply. What were the most important lessons life has taught me so far? If I could gather everything I've learned, the victories, the setbacks, the changes in perspective, into a single video, it would be this one. So if you're looking for practical advice, profound insights, or just a good conversation about life, stick with me, because what I'm about to share today might transform how you see the world. The importance of knowing yourself. In early adulthood, we're always trying to fit into something. Parental expectations, societal standards, or even our own dreams, which often aren't truly ours. Over time, I realized that knowing myself was the first step to building an authentic life. Relevant study or data. A Harvard Business Review study indicates that people who cultivate self-awareness are 32% more likely to achieve personal and professional satisfaction. I remember a phase when I pursued a career just because it seemed safe. Despite external success, I felt an inner void. Only when I started exploring my true interests, through hobbies, reading, and therapy, did I begin to understand what truly moved me. Ask yourself questions like, what truly makes me happy? Or what would I do even if no one were watching? Try tools like the MBTI personality test or the Enneagram to better understand yourself. Invest in self-awareness through journaling or honest feedback from close friends. The power of accepting that life isn't linear. We grow up with the idea that life is like a ladder. We climb one rung at a time, linearly, until we reach the top. But the truth is, life is more like a roller coaster, full of unexpected turns, ups and downs. Relevant study or data. A Gallup survey found that 60% of the most successful people changed careers at least twice before turning 40. One of the biggest surprises for me was realizing that starting over doesn't mean failing. When I left my first stable job to pursue a more uncertain path, I felt fear but also immense freedom. It was during that change that I found what truly made sense to me. See changes as opportunities to learn, not as setbacks. Remember that starting over is a privilege, not a punishment. The value of human connections. For many years, I believed independence was synonymous with strength. However, I learned that no one achieves anything alone. The connections I've built throughout life have been my greatest sources of learning and joy. Relevant study or data. Harvard's Adult Development Study, which followed people for over 80 years, proved that healthy human connections are the strongest indicators of happiness and mental health. Once, during a difficult moment, I hesitated to ask for help. A close friend noticed my situation and offered to talk. That conversation changed everything for me. Invest time in your relationships. Send messages, arrange meetups, be present. Cultivate active listening. Many people just need to feel heard. The importance of taking care of your body and mind. During the early years of adulthood, I completely neglected my health. I thought being young meant I could do anything without consequences. Over time, I realized the body demands its dues sooner or later. Relevant study or data. A study by the American Heart Association showed that people who engage in 150 minutes of exercise per week are 30% less likely to develop heart diseases. At 25, I started feeling constant fatigue. That's when I realized I needed to change my habits. I started slowly, with walks and small dietary adjustments, and the results were transformative. Try physical activities you enjoy, like dancing, swimming, or walking. Incorporate short meditation or deep breathing breaks into your routine. The value of time and how to use it wisely. When we're young, we think we have all the time in the world. But the truth is, every second we waste never comes back. Relevant study or data. A Pew Research survey shows that people who manage their time well report higher levels of productivity and satisfaction. For years, I procrastinated on dreams and goals, thinking the right moment would come. That moment never arrived on its own. I had to create it. Use tools like the Pomodoro technique to optimize your time. Remember that saying no to what isn't essential is saying yes to your priorities. The impact of mistakes and how to face them. We grow up fearing failure, but it wasn't until I stopped seeing my mistakes as the end of the world that I could use them as tools for growth. Relevant study or data. Carol Dweck's growth mindset theory shows that people who see mistakes as opportunities have greater resilience and success. One of the biggest mistakes I ever made was neglecting my mental health because I thought it was weakness. The learning that followed transformed me profoundly. Always ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Remember that making mistakes is part of the evolution process. The importance of cultivating gratitude. For years, I focused more on what was missing than on what I already had. It wasn't until I started practicing gratitude that I realized how rich my life was, even in difficult times. Relevant study or data. A University of California study found that people who practice gratitude regularly report higher levels of happiness and well-being. Adopting the habit of jotting down 3 things I'm grateful for each day helped me change my perspective on life. Practical application. Start a gratitude journal, noting small moments that made a difference in your day. Express gratitude to the people around you. Looking back on my first 30 years of life feels like flipping through a book full of intense chapters, deep lessons, and above all, growth. Each experience, good or bad, brought me to this point. If I could leave you with one final message, it would be this: life isn't perfect, but it's full of perfect moments if we know how to value them. Now I want to hear from you. Which life lesson resonated with you the most? Comment below, like this video, and share it with someone who might be inspired by this conversation. See you next time.